Self-sabotage. It's a word that carries weight, often evoking feelings of frustration and disappointment. We tend to see it as a personal failing, a sign that we lack the willpower or discipline to achieve our goals. But what if we're looking at it all wrong? What if self-sabotage is not the enemy, but a signal? A signal that something deeper is at play, something that needs our attention and understanding. We often see self-sabotage as a weakness, a failure of willpower. But what if it's actually a form of self-protection? A way for our minds to shield us from perceived threats or discomforts, even if it means holding us back from our true potential. Imagine standing at a crossroads on a hiking path, unsure of which direction to take. Self-sabotage might be the hesitation you feel, the voice in your head that says, maybe it's safer to stay where you are. But what if we could reframe that voice, not as a critic, but as a cautious friend? What if self-sabotage is not the enemy, but a signal? A signal that we're trying to protect ourselves, even if it's in a way that holds us back. It's a sign that there's a part of us that needs reassurance, that needs to feel safe before we can move forward. It's a sign that we're trying to protect ourselves, even if it's in a way that holds us back. This is where the journey to understanding begins. By acknowledging and listening to this part of ourselves, we can start to understand its fears and concerns. This is where the journey to understanding begins. We are not our self-sabotaging behaviors. We are not defined by the moments we hesitate, procrastinate, or shy away from our potential. Instead, we can see these moments as opportunities for growth. We are not our self-sabotaging behaviors. We are not defined by the moments we hesitate, procrastinate, or shy away from our potential. Instead of judgment, we can choose compassion. We can choose to see these moments as opportunities for growth, for understanding the deeper needs within us. We are not defined by the moments we hesitate, procrastinate, or shy away from our potential. Instead of judgment, we can choose compassion. We can choose to see these moments as opportunities for growth, for understanding the deeper needs within us. By doing so, we can transform self-sabotage from a barrier into a bridge. Instead of judgment, we can choose compassion. We can choose to see these moments as opportunities for growth, for understanding the deeper needs within us. By doing so, we can transform self-sabotage from a barrier into a bridge that leads us to a deeper understanding of ourselves and our true potential. We can choose to see these moments as opportunities for growth, for understanding the deeper needs within us. By doing so, we can transform self-sabotage from a barrier into a bridge that leads us to a deeper understanding of ourselves and our true potential. So the next time you find yourself hesitating or holding back, remember, it's not a failure, it's a sign that you're on the path to self-discovery and growth. Self-sabotage thrives in the shadows. It lurks in the corners of our minds, waiting for moments of vulnerability. When we are on the brink of something new, something challenging, it emerges, whispering doubts and fears. It whispers doubts when we're about to take a leap of faith. It tells us that the ground beneath us is unstable, that the path ahead is fraught with danger. It makes us question our abilities and our worth. It convinces us we're not ready, not good enough, not worthy. These thoughts are like ripples in a still lake, distorting our self-image and clouding our judgment. We see our reflection, but it is marred by the shadows of doubt. But these whispers are not truths. They are illusions, born from our fears and insecurities. Just as the sun breaks through the clouds, illuminating the landscape, we must shine a light on these falsehoods to see them for what they truly are. They are echoes of past hurts, of unresolved emotions, of limiting beliefs we've carried for too long. These beliefs are like withered leaves on a path, remnants of a past season that no longer serve us. They are rooted in experiences that have shaped us, but they do not define us. Why do we sabotage ourselves? This question lingers in the air, heavy with the weight of introspection. Often it's a defense mechanism, a way to protect ourselves from perceived threats. We build walls around our hearts thinking they will keep us safe. Often it's a defense mechanism. We retreat into our shells like a turtle hiding from the world. We step cautiously like a deer in a meadow, always on alert for danger. This self-protection, while well-intentioned, often keeps us from experiencing the fullness of life. We fear failure, so we avoid trying at all. The mountain trail before us seems insurmountable and we turn away, convinced we cannot make the climb. This fear of failure paralyzes us, keeping us stuck in place. We fear success, worried about the changes it might bring. Standing at the top of the mountain, we look out over the vast landscape, uncertain of what lies ahead. Success can be just as daunting as failure, bringing with it new responsibilities and expectations. We fear judgment, so we dim our own light. In the forest of our minds, we sit in the shadows, covering our faces, afraid to be seen. We worry about what others will think, so we hide our true selves, dimming our light to avoid scrutiny. Recognizing these fears is the first step to breaking free. Standing tall on the mountain peak, we must face these fears head-on. With determination and courage, we can step out of the shadows and into the light, embracing our true potential. Self-sabotage wears many masks. It's a sneaky adversary that can infiltrate our lives in various forms, often without us even realizing it. These patterns can be deeply ingrained, making them hard to identify and even harder to break. But understanding these common patterns is the first step towards overcoming them. One of the most recognizable forms of self-sabotage is procrastination. This is when we delay important tasks, often until the very last minute. It's not just about being lazy, it's a way of coping with the fear of failure or the pressure of high expectations. We might find ourselves doing anything but the task at hand, cleaning, organizing, or even engaging in leisure activities, just to avoid the stress of starting. Another common pattern is perfectionism. This is where we set impossibly high standards for ourselves, standards that are often unattainable. The fear of not meeting these standards can leave us paralyzed, unable to start or complete tasks. We might spend excessive amounts of time on minor details, or avoid tasks altogether, fearing that our efforts won't be good enough. This can lead to a cycle of inaction and self-criticism. People-pleasing is another subtle form of self-sabotage. This is when we prioritize others' needs and desires over our own, often to gain approval or avoid conflict. While helping others can be a positive trait, it becomes self-sabotaging when it leads to neglecting our own needs and well-being. We might find ourselves saying yes to things we don't want to do, or overcommitting to avoid disappointing others, which can lead to burnout and resentment. Do any of these patterns resonate with you? It's important to reflect on our behaviors and recognize these patterns in our own lives. Self-awareness is the key to change. By identifying these self-sabotaging behaviors, we can start to understand the underlying fears and motivations driving them. Recognizing them is crucial because it allows us to bring them into the light. When we shine a light on these behaviors, we can see them for what they truly are. Coping mechanisms that once served a purpose but are now holding us back. This awareness is the first step towards change. Once we see these patterns for what they are, coping mechanisms, not character flaws, we can begin to dismantle them. This process involves challenging our fears, setting realistic goals, and learning to prioritize our own needs. It's a journey of self-discovery and growth, one that requires patience and compassion towards ourselves. By taking these steps, we can break free from the chains of self-sabotage and move towards a more fulfilling and authentic life. True growth requires us to go beyond the surface. It demands that we tend to the wounds beneath the behaviors. Emotional healing is not a luxury. It's the foundation upon which we build a life of authenticity and purpose. How do we begin to heal? Self-awareness is key. Through journaling, meditation, or simply taking quiet moments to reflect, we can begin to understand our emotional landscape. What triggers our self-sabotaging behaviors? What fears are we trying to avoid? By acknowledging these emotions without judgment, we create space for healing to begin. Overcoming self-sabotage isn't about reaching a destination where we never stumble again. It's about building the resilience to get back up, stronger and wiser each time we fall. It's about developing the self-discipline to choose actions that align with our values, even when it's uncomfortable. Start small. Break down your goals into manageable steps. Embrace discomfort as a sign of growth. Remember, consistency is more important than perfection. Celebrate your progress no matter how small. Each step forward, no matter how tentative, is a victory worth acknowledging. Life is full of challenges. There will be setbacks, disappointments, and moments when we question everything. But what if we could shift our perspective? What if, instead of seeing these challenges as roadblocks, we saw them as opportunities for growth? Every challenge we overcome, every obstacle we navigate makes us stronger, more resilient, and more equipped to handle whatever life throws our way. Embrace the detours, the unexpected turns, and the lessons learned along the way. They are all part of your unique journey. Imagine yourself standing at the foot of a mountain. This mountain represents your goals, your dreams, your full potential. The climb may seem daunting, even impossible at times. You'll encounter obstacles, switchbacks, and moments of self-doubt. But remember this, you are the climber. You have the strength, the resilience, and the determination to reach the summit. The mountain is not there to stop you, it's there to help you grow. Embrace the climb, embrace the challenges, embrace the journey of becoming the best version of yourself. You don't need to wait for the perfect time or have all the answers to begin your journey of self-discovery. Start today. Start small. Start where you are. Identify your patterns. What self-sabotaging behaviors do you recognize in your own life? Choose one area to focus on. What's one small change you can make today that aligns with your goals? Celebrate your wins. No matter how small, acknowledge your progress and celebrate your victories. Overcoming self-sabotage is not a destination, it's a lifelong journey. It's about embracing the climb, learning from our stumbles, and celebrating every step we take towards becoming the best versions of ourselves. The mountain is you. It's your fears, your doubts, your limiting beliefs, but it's also your strength, your resilience, and your unwavering spirit. So keep climbing, keep growing, keep believing in your ability to create a life you love.